Hello guys, Furball the Hammy, your friendly neighborhood hamster, is back again for another update on my life, cause yeah, who cares about my real life anyways. As you can tell by my voice, or maybe you don't, I am petrified, sentimental, hopeful, and apathetic at the same time. But why? In fact, I'm so troubled that I'm recording this video at 2 AM and I'm having a very sleepless night, and I don't think I'll be sleeping tonight at all. But why, some of you guys may be wondering again. So now let me tell you guys a story. In the lives of most children as they grow into adults, they undergo the trials and tribulations which test their abilities, grit, resilience, and resolve. They go through it multiple times and they come in small and large packages, ranging in frequency from weekly to monthly or even yearly. These trials determine the path you take to adulthood and perhaps even adulthood itself in some cases. Yet while they are a major determinant of our future in my childhood or in your childhood in fact, its effects and consequences can be turned as we leave childhood and mature into adult and take control of our lives even further. For me, I have already went through 2 of the 3 major trials in my country and society, and tomorrow I will be going for my last and hopefully will be the absolute last trial that I will have to go through. If you have figured out what I'm referring to, great, but just in case you haven't, I'm referring to exams. But hey, some of you guys may be laughing. It's just an exam, a pop quiz, or a test. How big of a deal does it make? However, in my society, Singapore, we are a very academically inclined and focused society, averaging very high on international tests, English, maths, and science, and even creating our own A and A-level papers to send it to Cambridge to mark, because the British version of O and A levels is somehow deemed not to be challenging enough for Singapore. Also, in many Southeast Asian societies, results matter a lot early on in many of our lives and can piece together our fates from an early age from the tests and scores. Examples of this are like the Gaokao in China or the educational system in Korea, where education and results take precedence in your skills, your abilities, in determining your future, maybe up to your late 20s or even early 30s. Your grades truly matters, at least for the present future or in the near future. Whether you will be working at an office job or your dream job and making enough money to live a comfortable life with luxuries, or to be starting off at the bottom of the ladder and climbing up the social hierarchies within companies and firms and being promoted slower due to your lower educational certification, is the cruel reality I live in, and many people live in, especially in Southeast Asia and Asian countries. No matter how much sugarcoating we are told about our educational system, it is roughly the case, and this is not too far from the truth. Today, I will be collecting my A-level results, or the final trial of my childhood in this educational journey. While I may have passed the primary school leaving examinations or the PSLE and the O-levels, they are a molehill compared to the mountain of what comprises the A-levels, where you will be competing with the academically inclined students churned from the stifling, over-pragmatic, and pressurizing system. After my 12 years of education, my short future, perhaps the next 5 to 7 years of my life from now on, is heavily determined by the numbers and alphabets on a piece of paper that I shall receive roughly 10 hours from now at the time of recording. After my A-level exams, I did feel relieved and free, yet as the 3 months passed till the day I collect my results, and with each passing day, I underwent the denial of avoiding the thought by continue making videos, sitting at my computer for upwards of 8 hours a day, trying to forget the pain, trying to forget the inevitability. Slowly, this denial grew into paranoia as I questioned the possibilities, the good and the bad, and attempted to justify both sides, wondering what would be the more possible outcome. Yet the growing paranoia and questions eventually became frustration and anger, lashing out or even becoming cold at my parents and even my close friends randomly, as though I was bipolar. As I realized the lack of control I have over my fate, and my videos became increasingly emotional and somber from the time period onwards, as I realized the inevitable was going to arrive, and I have no control over it whatsoever now. Eventually, 1 month before the result collections, I will be enrolled into the army, and I thought life would be horrible. Turned out that it was much better than I thought, and if you want to know more about it, I made a previous video on it, link in the description. And during this 1 month, before collecting my results, I tried to run away and forget about the inevitable as I focused on the physical training in the army and aimed to become fitter every day and to rid my unhealthy habits I had before enrolling into the army, such as sitting around for 8 hours a day. But 2 weeks before the collection, as discussions on forums and WhatsApp or chats about the inevitable demon that taunts me in my sleep and every waking moment, I could do nothing but feel solemn at the uncontrollable events that will whiz by with each passing day. And in fact, I just realized that I typed out the 6 stages of grief, except that the final stage of acceptance has yet to arrive, which I painfully await. Time waits for no man, and fate is a cruel mistress. This is the final trial that I have to go through in my childhood, which I'm not looking forward to, but ironically, I also want it to end right now. Should the results turn out to be a tragedy or a blissful end to my tribulations on this educational journey, I will endure its consequences. Where a blissful end would send me to university with more trials to endure, and a tragic end would send me to retake SID exam or the A-levels again, or perhaps go to take a private degree. Either choice the mistress gives me in 9 hours from now would subject me to be riddled with more pain as I traverse adulthood and university. Yet, do I shed tears at this pain? Maybe I do. In fact, I do cry a lot. But what matters most to me is that I get up on my feet and deal with the new cards handed to me after every single day, after every single challenge, after every single trial. And afterwards, to strategically plan and decide what I can do with my next best options, just like what I did with my YouTube, my O-levels, and my PSLE, and even my army life. The pain grows with each decision I make, and each consequence that plays out that I have to bear. Like the decision to make and continue my YouTube channel with resolve during the past year. It brought me tons of joy, pride, and the ability to finally create something that I truly own. Yet it does hurt with a lot of sacrifices I have made. However, it is through this pain, this suffering, this anticipation, and this self-doubt that teaches you the meaning of your life, your identity, and to find your place in society with each adversity you overcome. My mind races with endless thoughts as I sleep tonight. I certainly would not be able to sleep. Probably another anime night where I try to drown out my thoughts of anime and pass the time, which becomes slower with each passing hour as my paranoia and helplessness grows to overwhelm the light, which was my confidence and resolve, which I once had back then during my A-levels and my YouTube channel back then. I will be updating the cards I am handed tomorrow on another video, or maybe I won't at all. Yet, I won't concede even if I get handed bad cards or it turns out to be a cruel end. I will turn it over eventually with resolve, blood, and tears. I may end this channel if the results turn out to be a lot worse than expected, and I have to take some drastic measures. But you can take solace that I won't end my life, and your hamster here will still be out there, somewhere in Singapore, trying to go through life. Thank you for listening to your hamster, and to anyone out there suffering from the same fate. Let's take solace together that we will eventually be through this torture once and for all. Eventually. Even if time passes slowly, we will still get there, and we will deal with these challenges step by step. Best of luck to anyone else out there who are taking their examination results, whether you are from Singapore, from Korea, from the United States, from Australia, from Denmark, from the European Union, or whatever. Best of luck to all of you guys out there, and remember that your grades don't define you. As much as I say that the grades define my future, they only do define your future for the short term. Eventually, 10 years down the road, when you look back, those grades will barely ever matter. But at the end of the day, remember that this too, this phase, and this challenge in our lives shall pass. And this is Furball the Hammy, signing out. See you guys in the future. Or maybe never again. Thanks for listening.